trailblazers, welcome to Escapes with TK. On this channel, again, I bring you fresh, exciting, inspiring conversations on anything money, travel, and lifestyle. As we continue with the Women and Money series, I get to chat to a dear friend and former colleague, Nyakallo Mokhele. I almost said Mushabesha. So in today's conversation, we're really going to just unpack her relationship with money, and as a married woman, what are the finances looking like, particularly when you have a husband that takes care of you. Hello and welcome to Escapes with TK.
Hi TK.
How are you doing?
Good, and you?
It's been a while since you and I hung out, eh?
Yeah.
I was actually quite surprised, Akibona, when I saw you say, I will volunteer to be a guest on your show. I was like, yes! So how do you feel? Starting with, how would you describe your relationship with money?
You know, that question is always so intriguing when you ask people, because it's like, okay, relationship as in where I hold money in my heart, or how I spend money. But I think generally my relationship with money, it's up and down. You know, we have different seasons in life. Sometimes you have your things together. You know, you're budgeting, you're using your money well, and then sometimes it's like, phew.
Where did it go?
So it's okay. You know, I don't hold it. I mean, we all love money. We all need it to survive. But I think I have a controlled relationship with money. Generally, I do well with
money. And I think for me, it reminds me of a conversation we had many years ago. You may not recall why, when you were driving the same car, I was just like, why are you not buying a car? You know, so I do get excited when I see people who are in control of the money. So the one question that comes to mind is, when you got married, again, a conversation that we had earlier on, many years ago, you really had very strong views on how much people should spend on preparing for a wedding. So when you were preparing to get married, how did you find the balance? How did you manage the balance between what you and your husband want, what the in-laws wanted, and what your family wanted?
There's just so much pressure that goes around preparing for a wedding day and a marriage. I think generally family and friends are focusing on the wedding day, and you need to focus on the wedding day and the marriage after that. So it's a lot of clashes with family and what you really want, how you imagined your wedding day looking like, and the reality of your life after that. So I think for us, we weren't holding too strongly about the day, the actual wedding day. It was more about what's going to happen after this wedding day. To a point where, like, I got into my wedding, I had no idea how my cake looked like. I had no idea how the decor is going to look like, because at some point I was just like, you know what? Let's just have this thing. Let it just pass. If my sister wants to buy wine, let her buy wine. If my sister wants to buy champagne, let her buy champagne. If my sister-in-law wants the cake to look like this, let it look like this. Let's focus on the after, because I mean, both of us were straight from home, straight from school, and we didn't have even a bed, you know. So we had to concentrate on the after more than the actual wedding day. Yeah, so it was, I think it's one of those things where you just, I'm gonna let it go. You know, the wedding day, it's going to happen either way. I'm just gonna let it go. It's going to happen. We're going to get married, but let's focus on the after. Let's buy furniture. Let's buy food for after the wedding. You know, because sometimes people get married, and especially for us, like people like us who had nothing, and then after the wedding day, you literally even have no food
and high volumes of debt, because now it was a wedding. It was now buying. You know,
so for us it was focusing literally. Like I bought groceries before the wedding day.
Really?
You know, because I'm like, you know, Sunday day we'll be faced with the reality of what to eat, and everybody will be gone. So I tried. I tried to let go of what I can let go of and focus on what's important in the after. And I feel like it helped us so much because I don't remember us having any stress after the wedding, financial stress after the wedding, because we had the basics of what we needed. So
Wow, interesting. So one question that also comes to mind before getting married is the default in Lesotho is you get married in community of property. Is this something is this something that you guys discussed before, or was it just assumed that Kanyala and I'll be getting married in community of property, or what is that like?
I think
for you guys?
in Lesotho really it's automatic. I don't think it's a discussion that you even have with either your parents or your husband to be. It's really implied. And I think that's where now, even for us, we need to take responsibility as the couple getting married in researching the advantages and the disadvantages. I think for us, fortunately, we're both Christians, and for us, we felt like we're becoming one, and for us, it's automatic, like we are choosing to get in community of property. For other people, I mean, people are, sometimes they get married already in businesses, and for them, they might want to choose something different, but they didn't do enough research to understand the advantages and the disadvantages. So I would say it's our responsibility as a couple getting married to research on what was best for you and your beliefs and your circumstances, because our circumstances are different. I mean, if you're not planning on getting into business, if you're, it's your responsibility as the couple getting married to do your research and find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
And I think for me, I like that, what works for you as a couple, because many a time there's a pressure, what everybody wants, but what does the couple actually want? So again, now you are married, you've got a husband who's very cool, by the way. So how do you balance you still have your family, your side of the family. He's got his side of the family. How do you balance supporting both families, yet still keeping to the financial goals that you guys have as a couple?
Look, I think there's no balance. I think there's no balance, and situations differ, For instance, when I got married, my mother-in-law was still working. She didn't need any financial support, and my dad had already retired, So circumstances differ. But what I always say, I think, for me and my family, is I don't like spontaneous requests, because we've set aside, me and my husband, what we give to both families, depending on the need. It doesn't even have to be the same. If my mom needs more than what his mom needs, or if his mom needs more than what my mom needs, then we budget that and we support them every month financially somehow. But what I don't like, and what I try to communicate with both my families, is I don't like spontaneous requests. I mean, life is not a program. Like, it can't be programmed that there won't be any spontaneous needs, but generally, we need to plan, because even for us, as much as we're both working, but there's plans in place. So I try for that to be clear, that can we have budgets so that we're not spontaneously asking for 1,000 rand in the middle of the month. So I think the balance, a bit of a balance is that, to say every month we're committing to giving you this month this much, and given this side every month we're committing to giving you this much. So budget on that.
Budget on that.
Budget on that.
Which brings me to the last question. When you speak about people planning, so in cases where it seems like you and your husband are on the same page in terms of the same rhythm, rather, when it comes to the finances and life in general. In cases where you guys have different financial goals and priorities that you feel this is important and he feels that that's important, and there's sort of kind of misalignment, how do you guys navigate that?
Well, in marriage, you have to be in alignment.
I love that.
Whether it takes a month, 2 months, but the alignment has to be there. And I always say people go on romantic dates, they do all sorts of things together with their partners, but most times we fail to have even financial meetings. So I believe every couple has to have that time, whether it's once a year or twice a year, but you have to have those meetings where you are aligning your visions for each year together, such that you know that, okay, this year I want to start a business, this year I want to go to school, this is how much we have, we can only afford one of these things, which one makes financial sense to start with for this year, and then you align.
Right. Okay, so in closing, what message of hope do you want to leave, particularly to young couples out there? And then lastly, where do people find you? I know you're not very big on social media, so you're gonna say don't follow me, don't apply. But what's your closing remarks to a young couple?
I think my closing remarks would be, if you've decided to get into a marriage, you are one in every area, in every aspect of your life, even financially too, you know. You don't have your own salary, he doesn't have his own salary. You bring them together and build together. That way you even achieve goals quicker than when you're using your own salary and he's using his. You bring them together and you found magic, you know. Yeah.
For me, particularly, the biggest takeaway was the financial dates for couples, whether married, single, or whatever the status of your relationship is. We are shooting live from Everyday Cakes, and I'm having the carrot cake. It is gorgeously tasty. That's even a word. Again, if you like this video, give it thumbs up. We try to grow the community of 12 ladies, so hit that subscribe button, share this video with somebody who can benefit from it, and lastly, let us know which part of the video you love. Is it the cake, is it the wine, is it the tea, or is it just the conversation I'm having with Naps? Naps, thank you so much for coming through to the platform, Escapes with TK/Money Adventures with TK. I am about life, travel, and lifestyle. So until the third video of the Women and Money series, love, peace, and money. Thank you guys. And nothing more. Money. Thank you so much. Love, peace, happiness.